redundant publications, duplicate publications, overlapping publication means what? What is meant by duplicate publication? What is mean by redundant publication? Or what is mean by salami articles? Friends, the goal of my today's learning module, which is before you, is to increase the awareness of the redundant publications as far as global research enterprise is concerned, as far as you see global research scenario is concerned. And the objective is to let you understand the role, the impact of redundant publications while you are pursuing your research leading to award of degree of doctoral publications also. Now let us focus on what is meant by duplicate publication. What are these duplicate publications? Friends, redundant publication, duplicate publication is publication of your paper that overlaps substantially with one which is already published in print form, maybe in electronic form also, and this is also called as self plagiarism, and this is considered as violation of publishing ethics. And nowadays editors also have given much recent attention to this increasing problem, because this problem is increasing day by day, and the editors, also the publishers nowadays, are very much concerned about this problem of duplicate publication, problem of redundant publication. And this is giving much attention, not only nationally but internationally. An author bears a great burden when a judgment of duplicate publication happens or occurs. Authors of any document for publication, researchers, when publishing any document, should know how to define redundant or duplicate publication. Why it is a problem? What happens in an investigation of it? What are the penalties for it? And particularly, how to avoid duplicate or redundant publication. Although, my dear friends, learned ladies and gentlemen, the terms redundant and duplicate, they may differ, but they are used as far as research and publication ethics is concerned, as far as research methodology is concerned, as far as the whole research scenario is concerned. These are used interchangeability in regard to publication. And there are guidelines. You will find the guidelines when you are going for publication. When you publish an article in some journal, on the journal website itself, on the home page itself, because these are the guidelines issued by Committee on Publication Ethics, and every journal, every publisher, every editor has to follow these guidelines if they are publishing internationally. And these guidelines, including both the terms redundant or duplicate, they are available on the website itself. Now, talking about the problem of redundant or duplicate publication, why it is considered as why this duplicate publication is a problem? Why it is considered as a problem? Because publishing the same information twice, publishing the same information in many journals is a problem. This is a problem in many ways. Because you see, unless it is presented properly, it is a violation of copyright laws. And this requires disproportionate human resources for reviewing the article. And this requires disproportionate human resources for editing. And if necessary, for investigating possible duplicate publication also. It means it is consuming significant human brain hours. And this consumes double the necessary amount of limited journal space. And thereby delaying timely publication of other articles also. Because you see, when this type of problem called redundant or duplicate publication, this complicates the work of other researchers also. This complicates the work of other authors also. Complication means double counting the results of a single study in meta-analysis. It means integrative reviews of literature. And you see, publishing the same work more than once, this might be an advantage to an author. Advantage means, for example, if a faculty committee simply counts the number of articles in referred journal, number of research papers, full research paper published in referred journals as a criterion for promotion or as a criterion for award of degree of Doctor of Philosophy, the author may be at advantageous stage. But however, in other universities, the author might lose credibility for padding a curriculum vitae with redundant publications. And although duplicate publications has been defined internationally for at least a decade now, more than a decade now, and recognition of it is still limited. And nowadays, this is regarded as a serious problem in each and every country all over the world. And sanctions, penalties are applied when it occurs. And the recent cases, you see, which are being cited all over the world in international journals and on the internet also, this indicates that information about it is now available globally. And the people nowadays are finding similar articles by visiting the website, by visiting the various softwares available. And these softwares are equipped with artificial intelligence, machine learning technology to identify previously published similar data. That's why, my dear friends, this duplicate publication nowadays is a problem. Everybody knows this should not happen. But why it occurs? Because, my dear friends, redundant publication is most likely it is the result of pressure to publish. Very important phrase, pressure to publish, because we are under pressure. The faculties are under pressure, the research scholars are under pressure. And this is a result of pressure to publish, redundant publication, duplicate publication. And editors all over the world, international editors all over the world, call it the salami slicer syndrome. Salami slicer syndrome means the authors divide their findings from a single study into minimally publishable pieces. I am repeating because this is very, very important, my dear friends. Why pressure to publish? What is salami slicer syndrome? This means what? This means authors, this means researchers, this means faculty. They used to divide their findings from a single research study into minimally publishable pieces. For example, if I have received queries, I have received manuscripts from authors proposing multiple articles from a single study. A frequent proposal is to present theoretical perspective in one paper and the methods and result in another. People are doing like this. More extreme, some authors have proposed separate manuscripts on the theoretical framework, separate manuscript on review of literature. They used to give separate manuscript on the methodology, separate manuscript on the results of the study. But my dear friends, in some cases, multiple articles are appropriate, no doubt. If extensive, they are appropriate only if extensive and varied new information resulted from a study. The problem, however, is the ease of slipping into redundancy. In most cases, one integrated and comprehensive article is preferable and sufficient. Please keep this in mind, my dear friends. One integrated article, one comprehensive article is sufficient. Although authors often complain that limitations of the pages are the reasons for submitting multiple papers. Because you see, some journals might be asking paper limited to 5,000 words, limited to 8,000 words, limited to 10,000 words, limited to 20 pages, limited to 25 pages. But my dear friends, please keep in mind, every long manuscript can be condensed, usually without loss of significant information. And there are certain types of papers which we will be discussing in our today's presentation also, which are not considered as duplicate publication, including thesis, including dissertations, including brief abstracts in conference proceedings, presentations during scientific meetings, or maybe furnishing reports to funding agencies also. But whenever you are in a doubt about a certain manuscript, about a manuscript which is in your hand, you should inform editors well in advance of any questions and provide the appropriate full information about it, so that the problem of duplicate or redundant publication cannot happen again. This is what is why you are going through this, my dear friends. When you are being equipped with a knowledge that it should not happen, why it is happening, why this is a problem, this means what, this means like this. Now you are equipped with such type of knowledge. Now you know what salami slicing is. Now you are being given this information about the penalties which are being imposed for duplicate publication also. Because you see, there are no uniform standards, no uniform procedures for investigating duplicate publications, but some are implied in Committee of Publication Ethics, the guidelines issued by COPE, Committee on Publication Ethics. And you see, the editors of various national international journals, they used to work together. Whenever they notice, whenever they receive reports of possible duplicate publication, possible redundant publication, editors handle communication with authors, editor handle communication with publishers, review the possible duplicate papers, invite reviews from members of editorial boards, and sometimes they also invite reviews from independent reviewers also. And considering all these facts, they used to make the decision about duplicate publication. And when necessary, they can write, they can issue a notice of duplicate publication to the concerned authors, giving a copy of it to your institution head, to your head of the university. And nowadays, my dear friends, the journals are doing like this, because you see, issuing notice to the authors, okay, this is okay, I will give the reply. But when a copy to the institution head, when a copy to the university head is being given, it means now it is the responsibility of the university, it is the responsibility of the institution to conduct a fair inquiry into it, conduct a fair scientific inquiry into it. That's why we have to be very particular. And many editors now scan new manuscripts carefully. They used to question authors about possible redundant publication before proceeding with reviews. This is what is, you see, some articles, this is what is about duplicate publications, this is what is about, you see, redundant publications. There are various penalties nowadays which are being awarded, sanctions for duplicate publications, because you see, if redundancy is recognized before publication, manuscript are manuscripts are rejected, no doubt. You will receive a letter from the editor that due to so and so reasons we are not able to publish your full research paper or article in our journal. That's it. Okay. But what to do when redundancy is recognized after publication? What to do? That's a problem. If these redundant articles have already been published, the visible penalties. What are the visible penalties? Penalties which I have already told. Penalty is publication of a notice of duplicate publication. Publication of notice in both the journals where it have been published. You see, a notice will be published in both the journals that so and so duplicate publication has been recognized of so and so author. The title of these paper are so and so, which is being published in issue number, volume number, month, year, page number, so and so. Not only this, notification to the authors, employers also. Not only this, my dear friends, some journals nowadays are blacklisting these type of authors also. And if to an extreme case, your redundant publications, your redundant article, redundant full paper might be retracted even after publication. And while you see, when editors, when publishers are retracting your paper, they usually ask authors, they usually ask researchers, writers for a written statement about the redundancy to be published with a notice of duplicate publication. And you see, sometimes to an extreme case, sometimes it happens that you as a researcher, we as a researcher, we as author are also including name of another person as co-author, including name of co-author without the person's knowledge or without the person's agreement, without informing him even, or maybe under pressure also we used to include the name. That second author now will be in trouble also. The first author might consider this action as a great, gesture of gratitude, but it is a serious violation of publication ethics. And you see, each and every author, all the authors which are being listed on the paper must participate in preparation of the manuscript for publication, and they must agree also to accept accountability. Accountability of what? Accountability of the content. Accountability of what is being written in the paper, what is being mentioned in the paper. They are accountable for this. All the authors are accountable for this. And penalties apply to all the authors listed on a manuscript. and are applied, my dear friends, regardless of their status, including students also. This is what is, you see, about redundant publication. This is what is about duplicate publication. The four scenarios illustrate how authors' dilemmas can lead to redundant publication. The first scenario: a new graduate publishing papers from a dissertation. Maybe consider yourself as you being a new graduate. You are publishing a paper which is being produced from your dissertation. You see, after completing a dissertation, a new graduate is full of, you see, energy, full of enthusiasm, full of inspiration, fully motivated. He is encouraged by his colleagues, by his faculty members. And if he or she publishes not one but several articles citing the dissertation, what will happen? You see, why I am using the word dissertation? Dissertation, because dissertation or a thesis, this is not considered as a published document. This is unpublished document. And so publishing the findings of the study is appropriate. And this is even required in some universities also, in some institutions also. Because you see, publishing means dissemination of the knowledge. Dissemination of the knowledge with research community, with the researchers, with the upcoming researchers, with the upcoming students. But publishing several articles from the same database might be criticized as salami slicing, with penalties imposed by publishers or maybe editors. I am repeating this, my dear friends, again. Publishing several articles from the same database. If you are publishing several articles from the same database, same dissertation, same thesis, this might lead to salami articles, this might lead to salami slicing, and it might be judged as redundant publication. Judging by the reviewers, judging by the editors, judging by the external subject experts, judging by the publishers, judging by the softwares also, my dear friends. And when it is being judged as redundant publication, you may be imposed penalties by the editors, by the publishers, with a copy of it to your employer. And penalties are especially likely when authors fail to cite other manuscripts from the same study, or sign the copyright assignment forms indicating that the content of the manuscript is original. Now, how it will be original when the same has been published somewhere else? Same has been published in some different journal. How it can be considered as original one, my dear friend? That's the question. Because you have to give an undertaking while sending your articles, while sending your full research papers for publishing, that so and so content is original and has not been submitted for publication elsewhere. You have to give an undertaking. This is new graduate publishing paper from a design, a longitudinal program of study. You see, a researcher with a program of study over many years, he or she builds knowledge from one study to the next, and after acquiring this knowledge, by performing several studies, he or she reports the findings in multiple articles. But my dear friends, where is the problem? The problem is, as far as long as each article, each research paper contains new information, particularly from different databases, the author is not likely to be questioned about redundant publication, and instead the author, the writer, the researcher will be commended for advancing scientific and professional knowledge. Again, because you see, this is very, very important, because after completion of this course, and after completion, performing your uh, when you are at the mid of your research study also, you might be interested in getting your research paper published. This is very, very important, because when you are going for publication, this means like that the content must contain new information. Your content, your research content must contain new information. New information means it is different from which is being published previously. When it is different from which you have already published, it means this is a new one, and you are not likely to be questioned by anyone. Not by the reviewers, not by the subject experts, not by the editors, not by the publishers. Because you see, the information is derived from different databases, and you will be receiving a letter of commendation that your article, your paper is considered as an advancement to scientific and professional knowledge. This is what ought to be. But my dear friends, presenting new information is critical. And is why presenting new information is critical? Because it is describing early in a subsequent manuscript how it extends but differs from the previous work. If it is different from your previous work, if it is different from the database, there is no problem. But it is not then a red flag to the editors, often to the reviewers. Is citation of largely the author's own work, because people are interested in increasing their citations also, and this is one of the best way to cite your own articles again and again, so that your citations are increased. And if authors copy text from their own publications without proper citations, this is self-plagiarism. Therefore, my humble request to each and everyone, do not indulge yourself in this self-plagiarism. Because self-plagiarism is what? You are copying text from your own publications without proper citations. This is self-plagiarism. And the content of almost all the journal articles, almost all the books is copyrighted. And my dear friends, learned ladies and gentlemen, copyrighted text may not be used in other publications without the publisher's permission. It means if you are using it, means it is violation of Copyright Act. It means it is violation of copyright law. It means it will be considered as breach of Copyright Act or copyright law. So you have to be very particular. This is my original unpublished work and has not been sent elsewhere for publication. Please be particular while sending such type of undertakings now. The third scenario is about author writing in different languages. Although my dear friends, author has the right to publish article in one language, and if you want to translate it into another language, you can publish it in some another journal. No doubt, you have the right. If you have a published article in one language, and if you want to translate it for publication in another language, you can do it. And this practice is increasingly common. But if done appropriately, my dear friends, if done scientifically, if done in a systematic manner, following the guidelines, it can benefit readers in both languages. But without proper citation of the original article and permission of the publisher where you have published the original article, my dear friends, you cannot translate it even. You don't have any right to translate it. It doesn't mean like that. Sir, this is being written in English. Now I want to publish it in Kannada. Now I want to publish it in Hindi. Now I want to publish it in Bengali. No, I want to publish it in Marathi. No, it's not like that, my dear friends. When you have published something, it comes under copyright law, it comes under Copyright Act. That's why you have to take prior permission from that particular publisher before translation even, and give proper citations. Take permission from the publisher and inform the second publisher to whom you are sending the translated version that this is a translation of my previously published so and so article in so and so journal, in so and so issue number, volume number, page number, and the name of the publisher. Please inform him well in advance so that there cannot be any case of violation of copyright law later on. And merely, you see, merely citing the original article, sir, I have cited my original article. This is not adequate. No, this is not adequate. The standards about duplicate publications are now international, and these are now known widely, known internationally. These are available online now on the web pages of each and every journal, on the web pages of Committee on Publication Ethics also. And nowadays authors, nowadays publishers, nowadays editors, they are all aware of all these standards because these are now um, commonly in use as far as European countries are concerned, or as far as our country is considered to be in action also. This is what is about the third scenario. This means what? Because sir, I am the author. I am writing for different audience. What does it mean? What you want to say? You see, the author believes the findings of his her own analysis may be interestingly for different type of audience. For example, results of a particular study of people. If you ask me to take an example from pharmaceutical sciences, let us take one example from, you see, medicinal sciences, pharmaceutical sciences. When you are interested in the findings of an analysis pertain to different audiences, for example, results of the study of people with diabetes mellitus might have different implications. These, when, because this is a study of people, with diabetes mellitus. It might have different implications. Different implications maybe for medical professionals. Different implications for nursing staff in critical care. Implications for community health services. Implications for nursing education as well. And you want to publish, you want to address all these audience simultaneously. You want to disseminate your knowledge with all these audience. But 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 my my dear friends. Publishing the same results in journal for different audiences, I already told you, may be likely to be considered as redundant publication. But you see, this is a different case. Different case means when you are publishing in some article, and might be that journal is focusing, might be the target audience is different, might be target audience is students. Now I want to target the nursing staff, and so and so journal is uh, widely subscribed by the nursing professionals, and I want to publish my article in this journal also, so that my knowledge is widely disseminated. Now, how to avoid redundant publication and to avoid duplication, to avoid redundant publication in this case, you as an author, you can include the multiple implications in a single article in a widely distributed journal. Maybe single article published in a widely distributed journal. Maybe you have one option. Second option, publish one comprehensive article with all the background and results of the study. And then query the editors of specialty journals about subsequent manuscript, focus specifically on their readers. And if you are choosing this one, it means please inform to the editors, to the publisher, that this information is being previously disseminated. Same data has been previously published in so and so journal, which is mean for so and so target audience. I want to publish it again because your journal is targeting so and so audiences. Please inform them well in advance, to so that your article doesn't come under redundant publication or duplicate publication, or your article is not being regarded as duplicate publication. This is the way. You have to find out a scientific way, you have to find out a transparent way. And transparent scientific means inform each and everything about what you have published previously. If you are going for the same article to be published in another journal also, same content published in another journal also, this is the way, my dear friends, you can act upon. These you see, these are the four ladies and gentlemen. You are from pharmaceutical sciences, you are from pharmacology, you are from medical sciences. Your writings does make a difference. And the type of study you are conducting may be of useful to different type of audience. That's why uh, I have taken up these four scenarios so that you can focus upon it properly while disseminating your knowledge. Now coming to the most important part, how to avoid duplicate publication. How you can avoid duplicate publication? What are the ways to avoid duplicate publications? Now let us see it one by one. Number one, which is coming before you, is cite all related papers, including those submitted but yet not accepted. I have said, please, what you are, what you want to publish, my dear friends, inform the editors, publishers about each and everything. Inform them well in advance, so that later on such type of queries doesn't arise, or regarding duplicate publications, regarding redundant publications, regarding salami slicing. Such type of allegations may not happen in future. The best way is cite all the related papers, including yours, including those which are being submitted for publication but yet not accepted, yet not published. The second one, be clear in submitting a manuscript. What new information it contains. Clearly mention it. Be clear while submitting your manuscript. Highlight what new information, what new knowledge, what is extension of knowledge, what new theory, what new practice, what innovative idea your research contains. Very, very important. Number 3, understand what conditions all authors listed on a manuscript endorse in giving permission to publish a manuscript. Very, very important. Because why I am writing this, even if, because you see this is a common practice, this is happening everywhere in the universities and institutions. And sorry to say, most of the research supervisors, most of the guides, they are pressurizing their research scholars to include their name as first author in their paper. No doubt, my dear friends, you have no option. You have no option, because you have to complete your um, degree, you have to complete your thesis under the guidance of that particular research supervisor only. You have no option. But what is required is get your research paper. If he is going to be the first author, or maybe he is going to be a corresponding author, second author, third author, get your research paper endorsed by your research supervisor also. Endorse means get signed. Take approval from him. Take his signature on the undertaking specifically. Otherwise, in future, you will be in a problem. If anything happens, any allegations, any plagiarism, duplicacy, redundancy, salami, anything happens, you will be the sole. Because you see, if you have not taken his signature, you have not taken his approval before sending the undertaking, it means you have done it intentionally. This is very, very important, and my humble submission to each and every research scholar about this. Give preference to publishing a potentially classic and comprehensive article instead of dissecting results into minimally publishable pieces. Please read it once again. Very, very important thing what I have mentioned here. Please give preference to publishing a potentially classic and comprehensive article. Your focus should be on publishing a comprehensive article, classic article. Why comprehensive? Why classic? Because my dear friends, because you want to have minimally publishable pieces. Don't dissect your articles into number of pieces. No, not at all needed. Don't do dissections of your results. Don't do dissections of uh, uh, your conclusions also, your results also. This is how you can avoid redundant or duplicate publication. The last but not the least, challenge criteria. Criteria for promotion. Criteria that indicate greater emphasis on quantity than quality of publication. Challenge it. Now, no need of giving challenge, my dear friends. Our regulator, thanks to Honorable Chairperson of University Grants Commission, he suo moto has taken cognizance of all these things. And suo moto he has withdrawn the previous guidelines and issued new ones. Now the focus is on quality rather than quantity by University Grants Commission. Focus is on quality, not quantity. And now it is not mandatory to publish minimum 2 research papers before submission of your thesis leading to award of Doctor of Philosophy. Not necessary at all. UGC has withdrawn that guidelines and come up with some new guidelines, and these guidelines are available on the website of University Grants Commission. You can have a look into that also. This is you can avoid redundant or you see duplicate publication. Now the question is what to do. What to do if redundant duplicate publication is occurred in submitted manuscript? Apart from all this, now sir, I am in problem because there is a problem of redundant publication in submitted manuscript. What to do, sir? Here are the points. Here are the key points which you can follow. The instructions to authors should state the journal's policy on redundant publication. For me, if I am the editor, I am the publisher, I should have a clearly defined policy on redundant publication, and it should be available on the website of my research journal. Clearly define your policy. State the journal's policy. It may be helpful to request the institution's policy also. There is a policy because research policy is with each and every institution nowadays. And yours also, because you see Bharati Vidyapit deemed to be university is now A++ institution. The most promising deemed to be university in this country. And you being a student of that, you being a research scholar of that, it means something, my dear friends. And the research policy is in place. Already research policy is in place. You can have a look to that in your own university's research policy. Ask author to verify their manuscript is original and has not been published elsewhere. I already told you. Please, if manuscript contains 3 authors, ask all the authors to verify that particular manuscript, that this is an original one and it has not been published elsewhere, nor it has been sent for publication elsewhere. This is to be done. This is to be each and everything. International Committee on Medical Journals editor. Because you see, why I have mentioned this particularly in this presentation. Because you see, you are all students of medic medicines, medical sciences, pharmaceutical sciences, and the you see the advice, the policies of International Committee of Medical Journal Editors, ICMJE. It advises that translations are acceptable but must reference the original. Because you see, whatever is being published in French or German or Russian may be helpful for Indians also. If an author of Russia, if an author of Germany, if an author of France, he want to disseminate his results, he want to disseminate his conclusions, his research study with Indians, how to go ahead? Because you see, medical sciences is mean for making the life of the mankind more meaningful all over the globe, all over the world. This means you have to disseminate your knowledge all over the world, all over the globe. And they have decided, International Committee of Medical Journals Editors, ICMJ, they have decided and advises that, they have advised all the journal editors and publishers that translations are acceptable, but it must include reference to the. What to do if redundant publication in a published article? What to do? Yes. The instructions to authors should state the journal's policy on redundant publication. Asking authors to sign a statement or tick a box may be helpful in subsequent investigation, because you see, you already signed the box. Signed the box means, it means you have submitted the undertaking. Please do this. Please do take a note of this. ICMJ advises that translation are acceptable but must reference the original. Editors may consider publishing a correction, that is a link to the original article, rather than a retraction notice of duplicate publication in such cases. This is the advisory issued by International Committee of Medical Journal Editors to all over the world, especially as far as medical journals are concerned. This is an advisory already been issued. Now, my dear friends, coming to the case studies. There are, you see, when we are talking about duplicate publications, when we are talking about independent publications, without going through some case studies, it is rather very difficult for us to look into. Because you see, let us have some understanding how these cases are being dealt. What are the advices? How this is going to happen? How this is being dealt with? When anyone come across with such type of publications, how the situations, how they are dealing with. Yes, coming to the case study, number one case study is on duplicate publication. Just go through this case study, please read it. Is this visible properly? Am I audible, friends? Please unmute and respond. Am I audible? Is this visible? Yes, so please go through this case study. Please read it and read it once, twice. Without that, you will not be able to understand this case study. Can I go ahead? See the next page. Have you gone through this? Okay. You see, the editor of Journal A considered this to be a duplicate, but the author denied this on the grounds that there are further data. Okay, accepted. From the publishers, the editors, well in advance. If if he would have informed the publisher well in advance that such and such research study has already been published in a journal from United States, but this is the new information which I am adding to this article. This is the new knowledge. This is the, you see, extension of knowledge. Apart from what has already been done, because my dear friends, research is what? Research is identifying the research gaps. Research is about creating new knowledge. Research is about extension of existing knowledge, expansion of existing knowledge. Research is about new conceptual definitions. Research is about new operational definitions. And what new you have done, if you would have informed well in advance, while sending your article to Journal A, this situation would not have arisen. My humble submission is this: please maintain the transparency. Insist on how far, what all information should your article includes apart from the content. Please inform about each and everything to the editors, inform about each and everything to the publisher also. This is what is needed, this is what is the advice actually. Is the follow up. Because you see, you can't say, sir, no, you are wrong. You can't say like that. Because their decision is going to be final. Decision taken by editors, decision taken by publishers are going to be final. Because you see, situations are being situation have arisen after you have submitted your paper. If that while submitting your paper, if that information is being included, such things wouldn't have taken place. This is what is my humble while submitting your papers. Now, the case study number 2 is on allegations related to multiple papers and journals. This is an allegation related with multiple papers and journals. Now, go through this case study properly. Should I go forward? Read this page number 2. Yes. Should I go forward? I have some questions. And this is one of the journals has received another submitted paper by the same group of authors. Should the paper undergo normal peer review or should it be delayed because of the unresolved investigation about the other papers? What is your suggestion about it? Yes, yes, yes. One more. Should different publishers, journals share information with each other about cases that involve multiple papers and journals? If so, how should the information be shared with others? Yes, definitely, definitely they are sharing the information because you see they are having their association with them. They are the members of the association, and association, such type of association is being formed in order to share the information, so that uh, um, the, you see such type of association is formed so as to create good science, so as to do good research, so as to do good publication in the interest of the researchers, in the interest of the public at a large. This is what is the, you see, this is what is the objective behind forming such association. This is the advice. One more case study is coming before you: duplicate submission and request for withdrawal. This is a case study on duplicate submission and request for withdrawal. Just go through this case study. Okay, gone through this. Okay, now concerns, questions. Should journal be retract the paper on these grounds? Should journal be retract the paper on these grounds? What is your advice? Yes, please. They sh- but he has submitted a written request to withdraw. You see what happens, my dear friend. The case of duplicate submission is very complicated by the data issues actually, and it becomes more complicated with the authors saying there are inconsistencies in their data and you see subsequent conclusions also. Here in this case, could the authors have used the data issues as an excuse to withdraw the papers from Journal A so that they could publish in Journal B for speed of publication, or you see higher impact factor, or anything else? You see, in this case, the papers, what the guidelines of Committee on Publication Ethics says, the papers should be retracted only if there are sufficient grounds for retraction. And the guidelines issued by Committee on Publication Ethics, which are being followed internationally, these guidelines do not support retraction of published articles in the case of dual submission. You see, I am repeating again. The guidelines which are being issued by Committee on Publication Ethics, these guidelines do not support retraction of published articles in case of dual submission. I am talking about submission, dual submission. But in this case, the data issues also need to be taken into account. And you see, instead of retraction, Journal B might consider publishing an expression of interest. They can also inform the authors, they can also inform the institution that the journal's next course of action is publication of an expression of interest on the grounds that questions have been raised about the validity of the data. Therefore, a unified approach is being needed. You have to understand the guidelines first. You have to go through the guidelines, international guidelines first. And a unified approach is being needed sometimes, many a times. This is what is study. What happens if journal B does not receive a response from the authors or their institution? If they are not receiving straightforwardly publish concern of in, concern of interest in your upcoming issue. Now, one more case study is coming before you. It is about redundant public. What is your advice? What you will say in this case? This is redundant publication. This is duplicate publication. Publishing the same papers in two journals, two different journals, without taking permissions from the author of the papers. This is a clear case of redundant publication. You should write a letter to that institution concerned to which these authors belong, and ask them to conduct an inquiry so that suitable action can be taken by the editors, can be taken by the publishers. In this case, one more case study. This case study is on dual submission, salami slicing, redundant publication, or all the three. Yes, please go through this case study. Editor A wrote to editor B indicating that one of the reviewers of the paper submitted to journal A contain material that has been submitted at about the same time to journal B. Editor A requested a copy of the paper submitted to journal B. Okay. Journal B responded confirming that the paper in question had been submitted to journal B. Submission date 2 weeks earlier than the paper submitted to journal A, but had been rejected 8 weeks later after external peer review. Okay. It means journal B has rejected that paper. Journal B sent a copy of the rejected paper to editor A. Editor A examined the two papers and confirmed that there was some degree of overlap between the two, and also felt that there was a degree of salami slicing. What should the editors do now? Yes, please. What should editors do now? Your response, please. Yeah, but but you but I would like to make one humble submission here. Editors, publishers should ask the institution, university concerned to conduct an inquiry. They should not give penalties directly. This is what this guidelines issued by Committee on Publication Ethics says. It says, please ask the institution concerned, giving all the information, sending all the documentary proof to the institution concerned, and ask them to conduct an inquiry. And on the basis of the results, on the basis of the conclusion of that inquiry committee, you can act. The editor should act according to the conclusions of the inquiry committee. or the results of the inquiry committee. This is what is fair enough. They should not be biased. Let the institution concerned should make an inquiry. Vice let the honorable vice chancellor, let the dean of research cell, let the dean of research integrity cell to conduct an inquiry, and on the basis of that inquiry report which is being received at the editorial office, you should now act further. This is what is fair enough. This is what is needed in this. So friends, this is of today's presentation. Knowledge of publishing norms, knowledge of laws, knowledge of ethics can enable authors, researchers, faculties, students to prevent ethical problems and remain enthusiastic about publishing findings that are important for advancing nursing knowledge, medical knowledge, or knowledge in pharmaceutical sciences. Thank you so much, my dear friends. My whole article, my whole learning module is based on all this literature which is being shared by these learned authors, literature shared on the uh, international platforms of International Committee on Medical Journal Editors. I have taken some important guidelines and some important you see case studies also from their website. Thanks to all these authors, thanks to all these uh, learned authors and the creators of these websites. Thanks to you also listening so patiently and participating in this learning module, making this learning module so interactive. Thank you so much. Any questions? Most welcome.